Everybody, Jerome Wright here, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright channel. Okay, I'm going to be in this video I'm going to be making a connection between queens, royal figures, royal families, and that of the Vatican in this point, ancient rooted royalty. It's my position that these two entities are almost seemingly one and the same, and that ancient rooted royalty such as the Vatican is nothing more than an extension of royal families which enjoys both sides of the fence, so to speak. I'm gonna go into detail a little bit here. I only have 15 minutes, so I'm gonna make it go quick, okay? So I'm gonna go through it kind of quick. Here you have a royal jester. He's at a crosswalk. This is a crosswalk. He lays down a cloth, which I don't have the other image here. I'm assuming that he took it off, and he lays it out for the queen to walk over. Here's the other part where you see the queen is actually in there. It had it enlarged, and that took her out of this one here. Okay, as a person would lay down for a cloth for a woman to walk over his garment over a hole. You see what I'm saying? So it's my position through my discoveries that these gestures represent the royal jester, the clown, represents DNA. He's covenanted in all of the genes, and there's this genetic bridging which takes place. Now, as you already know through my other videos, is that I'm stating that the cross in any scenario represents the cross-referencing of mankind's being, and that's the underlining message of all of this. But let's forget all of that, all right? I'm not going to get into that. The fact of the matter is that you have a jester that's entertaining the queen, and here I'm going to take you to Vatican, to Nervy Hall, and you have the same exact message. You have a seated pope with a bunch of bishops around him. He's being entertained by these acrobats, which are pyramided themselves up, have hats on their heads, and have hats handed out as if they're handing their DNA to this guy. Almost the same as what I'm telling you here. Clothing taken off and set out on the ground for the queen. In a sense, it's stating that I'm giving you the shirt off my back or the clothing off my back. In this case, I'm stating the DNA off my back. And this is why in a lot of those images you see paupers and people coming up and offering the jewelry and those paintings. This message is symbolizing something ancient and rooted that is describing as giving a part of yourself or giving something of value to someone else, meaning in the sense that I'm saying that it all represents DNA. Now, you have this guy here laying down. He's standing out, his leg is out, he's bent over like bowing and saying here for the queen to walk over. At this Nervy Hall proceeding, where the Pope is being entertained, you have this guy knee down, hat down, and he's saying, "Behold, I give thee." Almost the similar as what is being stated here. Now I'm going to keep going. Now also, this is an image, I don't know if you can actually see, where these popes have the Swiss Guard. I have a problem with that because the Swiss Guard actually comes across to me as being in uniform, almost like that of a uniform of that of a jester. This is a cartoon image of a jester, a female jester, clown. But the Swiss Guard has that uniform look of a jester. I don't bring that in close. But you know, it's amazing that these popes even have these figures beside them with all of the other people that they have in their entourages around them. You know, it's amazing that they also have guards. I mean, if you're the holiest of holiest, You go on the strength of your shield, of your belief. You do not need an army of soldiers around you, let alone saluting you as if you're presidential or governmental officials and you're in an army. As you enter into buildings or as you approach these people. This is, people, very unusual. And here's the saluting of these bishops as they're going into this building, being saluted by their own personal army. The Swiss Guard at the Vatican. People's donations pay for this, and it's just amazing that, I mean, because if I'm a man of God, as I say I am, and I'm covenanted in the holiness of my God, I would not need an army to protect me, because I would look to God as being my sole protector. So therefore, I would not be taking your donations to pay for all of these shows and this protection, whereas I'm already coveted in protection. So if you're coveted, why are you taking the people's money to hire guards or have guards on hand to feed, clothe, and house? This conflicts with the idea of you being who you say you are. If you're a man of God, you do not need protection under no circumstances. Now, but again, everything here is consistent with royal families. This is what royalty have been doing for eons. And this is the behavior that is shown and depicted in every scenario that you look at with the Vatican of being royal. Here's a pope sitting in a chair, in a relief chair that actually seems, it's a throne that comes out from the wall. These guys wear their tiaras. They have their own thrones. And as you can see, I believe on the arms there, there's angels. Is it on the arms? Yes. There's cherubs' heads on the chairs there, and it's a throne that's attaching a wall, meaning that this chair is not out away from a wall, it's into a wall. Okay, like it's part of the wall, like it's a doorway to another dimension. Here you have Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in almost a similar, identical scenario as that is that Pope. And you have angels here. There's an angel either in the beginning. Where's the angel at? The angel is here in the same exact scenario, which is that of the Pope. So what the idea behind all of this, the concept behind the thrones, the angels attaching the chairs, and these chairs attaching these walls, these buildings, as being one with the building, these thrones, is the same thing that's adopted and incorporated with the Vaticans. So, do we have a king that is wearing dual hats, wearing a papal tiara and also a crown? Is this Pope actually implying he's a man of two caps? He's a king and as well the leader of a religious sect? There is a papal tiara and there is a crazy throne there, as you can see, looking like something demonic. Reminds me of Angkor Wat. People, how can you not realize that this is something that is terribly wrong? This is Pope Francis, our last Pope. He's taken and being saluted by one of the Swiss guards as he walks by. People, this is a clergy official. You're not supposed to be saluting this man. This man is supposed to be extending his hand to you and greeting you in a one-on-one fashion, as extending his arm in a way of God extending an arm, not saluting this man as he's a military official, as this Swiss Guard is doing. This, people, is what is happening. This goes on in ancient rooted royalty. This is worship. These people are all demanding worship. And this is what my problem is with all of this. This is the similar scenario of these people having protected bloodlines. They have crowns. They have grand royal performances. They have ancient rooted and this ancient rooted history, but neither one of us can tell, neither one of those groups can tell us anything about who we are, where we came from, or what their religion or what their ceremonies are about. Both groups. And there's this hidden secrecy. They got their own medical facilities and all of this ancient hidden knowledge, and no one can tell us anything. And they all age the same way, looking the same way, bent over, decrepit, and looking like they got bone and teeth and some type of deformity problem. I guess that's from drinking all that semen and blood. And they both demand that you worship them. This is the problem that I have. Now, Catholic churches in my area look like England-style buildings. You see, so there's a correlation between them. Now, here's a Pope. I have to start speeding up here. Here's a Pope meeting with Queen Elizabeth. All you have to do is Google popes and the Queen. They look like husband and wife. Look. I have a problem with this picture here. I'm going to have to speed it up here. Now, if you were going to visit a Pope, Queen Elizabeth visited Pope Francis for the first time. She went to the Vatican. If you were going to visit the Pope, would you take him whiskey? It would be an insult, right? There she is meeting, and I guess her husband, Prince Philip, is back there. He looks like, I don't know what, like the guy from Phantasm with those spheres. Remember that funeral director, and he was doing some type of alien type stuff going on. This man looks very sickly. But look at him here. This is an insult, people. Feast your eyes on this. Prince Philip holding up a bottle of whiskey to a pope and a bishop, and look at the pope's face. Look at the bishop's. look at the bishop's face. Are they lighting up? A bottle of whiskey brought to the Vatican for the Pope as a gift, as the Queen visiting him. I'm going to put more in writing because I'm running out of time. Look at how they are marveling over this bottle of whiskey. Look, there's several pictures. If you Google it, there are several pictures. Look how they are marveling. Look at the interest of Pope Francis in this bottle of whiskey and this bishop. Look at the bishop over there in the corner as Prince Philip is holding this up. Look at this. Like if they're saying, wow, go ahead and break that open so we can go ahead and engage in our menage a trois, so we can begin our blood swapping and semen swapping. Look at this. Almost like a ritual. I thought I had another picture here that I was looking at. Oh, this is the one here where look at how Queen Elizabeth is looking past the Pope at the bishop. People, it's my position that these rituals that they are having, that these royal families and these ancient rooted religious sects are all one. They have been around forever, and they have a relationship that is behind the scenes, that it is okay for them to do this. For her to insult religion, this is an insult to religion, to the house of religion, and to the Pope, to bring a bottle, and to the people that support the Pope, to bring a bottle of whiskey into the house of God to give to a man. I'm going to put more in writing. I have to go. My video is going to be ending on this. I'm going to end there. You see what I'm saying? So it's my position through my discoveries that these jestures represent the royal jester, the clown, represents DNA. He's covenanted in all of the genes, and there's this genetic bridging which takes place. Now, as you already know through my other videos, is that I'm stating that the cross in any scenario represents the cross-referencing of mankind's being. And that's the underlining message. Everybody, Jerome Wright here, and once again, you're joining me on my Jerome Wright channel. Okay, I'm going to be in this video, I'm going to be making a connection between queens, royal figures, royal families, and that of the Vatican in this point, ancient rooted royalty. It's my position that these two entities are almost seemingly one and the same, and that ancient rooted royalty such as the Vatican is nothing more than an extension of royal families which enjoys both sides of the fence, so to speak. I'm gonna go into detail a little bit here. I only have 15 minutes, so I'm gonna make it go quick, okay? So I'm gonna go through it kind of quick. Here you have a royal jester. He's at a crosswalk. This is a crosswalk. He lays down a cloth, which I don't have the other image here. I'm assuming that he took it off, and he lays it out for the queen to walk over. Here's the other part where you see the queen is actually in there. It had it enlarged, and that took her out of this one here. Okay, as a person would lay down for a cloth for a woman to walk over his garment over a hole of all of this. But let's forget all of that. All right, I'm not going to get into that. The fact of the matter is that you have a jester that's entertaining the queen, and here I'm going to take you to the Vatican, to Nervy Hall, and you have the same exact message. You have a seated pope with a bunch of bishops around him. He's being entertained